I'll start with you first. Obviously not the result we wanted here today, but it is a series, 3 games, 1 left to go. You go to Brisbane, what do you change?
There's a bit to change. There's some good stuff that we'll take out of tonight. I thought the boys were quite brave and courageous for the first 50 minutes, and things snowballed against us. We contributed to it, so we'll take a fair bit out of it. But like you said, it's 1-1 now, and we're back on the starting line.
Media, we'll open it straight up to you.
What went wrong, Billy? What was the difference out there tonight?
That was a bit. It was a bit. No, like I said, I think that first 50 minutes was a good contest, and then New South Wales just started playing with a little bit more energy than us, and some concentration things crept into our game, and we compounded that. So that's where it was decided.
All week there was no complacency in this group, but as the match went on, it felt like the score line just really started to get away from the team. Do you feel like in the later stages of the game they ever did kind of throw the towel in at all?
Yeah, no, I don't think they threw the towel in. I think it's probably more concentration than complacency. I think we lacked a little bit of concentration in our roles, and it wasn't any one player. It was pretty much across the board. There was a lot of things that players sort of lost their concentration, and that just helped New South Wales gain a little bit of energy, which they already had.
How much of that's down to fatigue?
Yeah, it plays a part, doesn't it? Like it's, fatigue's a part of the game, and when you go down to 12 men, your team's a lot more fatigued. So that contributed, but that's the game.
Well, how costly was that sin binning?
I just said fatigue's a part of the game.
What do you make of it? Do you think this is...
I'll have to go back and look at the things, the penalties individually, but that's their job. That's the referee's job. They'll review their own game. You guys will review that. Like, I've got my job to think about. So we won't use that as an excuse.
Daly, the sin binning, what did you think of it, Daly? Did you think it really turned the momentum there?
Like Bill said, there was a lot of things that we did which harmed ourselves. We put ourselves in some really tough positions. I thought we were really, really brave to defend the way we did coming out after half-time, and what happened after that wasn't great. But for that most part, while we did have 12 men, I thought we tried really, really hard.
Just on that, like that moment when you defend the way they did, and you didn't concede a try with 12 blokes in that first bit of the second half. I felt like you guys would grow a leg in that moment, and then it felt like when you suddenly then did concede, it was deflating for you guys. Is that how it felt a little bit?
Like Bill touched on, for 50 minutes it really did feel like there was a really tight contest out there, and the scoreboard probably reflects the last 30 minutes how dominant the Blues were. So there's a lot that we did wrong in that, but there was also a lot that they did right. So somewhere in the middle there's the answer.
How much do you feel like
question your effort in that last 30 minutes? You say you're courageous to let that score blow out. Is that an embarrassment for Queensland?
Look, they're big words, and it's a lot of titles and headlines that media like to put on certain performances, but the reality is that's what happened. That was the scoreline, and looking at my teammates, there's not one person that didn't try their hardest out there tonight, and as Bill said, from a coaching standpoint, it probably looked like we lost a fair bit of concentration there for 30 minutes, but again, I can't question the effort that we put out there.
Billy, will you look to make changes for Brisbane though?
No, that's our team. We've got our team, so we'll assess it, but that's our team that played tonight. That's our team that's been there through the whole series, so I haven't thought that far ahead.
Is Ruben definitely looking like he'll be out for Game 3? Is that the indication you got from the Cowboys?
I'm not sure. I heard it was 3 to 5 weeks, so I'm not sure.
Billy, they really put the rookies under the pump tonight, both wingers and even Jeremiah there, and a few costly errors. Was the outcome? Do you give them a chance to back them, I guess, to learn from that?
Yeah, they contributed to the concentration errors in our team, but they weren't the only ones. There was there was other players that lost concentration for moments, and you can't do that at this level. That's a lesson that we learnt, and those young players have learnt. So it's tough. It's a tough arena. It's not easy out there, I can guarantee you.
This is the first time you really, as coach, has experienced a loss, I guess. How did you go in the box, not being able to control what was happening on the field there, and what was your emotions like seeing it kind of unravel and get worse as the game went on?
Yeah, it's different. It was different for me in game one. Again, you've got no control up there, but you got to put a lot of trust in your players and trust in the work that you've done throughout the week. I'll look at my role. I've got to get better too. So I'll look at what we did throughout the week and where we can improve. Look, going back on the embarrassment thing, I think Queensland will be proud of their team. They put in a whole heap of effort. All right, so it's 1-1 in the series, and the series will go back to Brisbane. That's not going to win us the game. That's not going to help us unless we fix up these concentration errors. But they tried really hard. You can't fault their effort. And Queensland's always been about effort. So they'll stick together, Queensland.
Daly, we heard you on the field. You obviously thought the Kafusi sin bin was rough. You said they were all different penalties. Did it seem like it was unwarranted?
I just felt like the decision was made relatively quickly. Considering the amount of infringements that we had. So you never know when you're going to get those decisions against you. So anytime you do get someone sent for 10, it usually comes as a bit of a shock. But like I said before, we did really well to scramble there for the most part of that 10 minutes.
A few headlines around Kafusi leading into the match, especially after escaping suspension over the Sam Walker incident, and then people started talking about his rap sheet. Do you reckon if it was another player, if it wasn't police, the ref would have been as quick to submit him?
I'm not sure. You're probably going to have to ask the referee around those sorts of decisions. But as a teammate of Felice's, I really enjoy playing next to him. He does everything he can to protect his teammates, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. So got a lot of time for Felice as a person. I don't think he goes out there to intentionally hurt someone like that.
Billy, did you think that it was officiated different tonight? Did it feel different?
I'll have to have a look at that, Katie. But that's not my thing to deal with. My job's in and around the team and what we can get better at. We'll look at how it's officiated and we'll play to that standard. But no, I'm not here to talk about the referee. The referee have got their own jobs. We've got our jobs. Players have got their jobs. So that's where my focus is.
Billy, how's Kalen?
Yeah, he's obviously, copped a bit of a shot there to the head when he was hitting the ground. He was staggered on the field, so he came straight off. We made sure that he came straight off and made sure he was okay. He obviously missed out on the Canberra game too with a head knock. So, also the game before Canberra. We've got to make sure that he's okay. But in the sheds, he seemed fine, but the doctors will assess him.
Anyone else?
No, I think everyone else is okay.
Once he was holding his shoulder there.
Yeah. We'll have to see the medical staff. He's got a bit of ice on it at the moment, but I haven't really had time to go over all the medical reports and all that.
Daly, I just want to ask you, did you feel...
Sorry? Yeah, we'll fly back to Queensland. So, sorry? We had to fly back to Queensland and to get that flight back. So.
Daly, can I just ask you, did you feel like, as a player, it was officiated different tonight? Did it feel different to game one?
Not coming off. It's not the first thing I've thought of, no. I will watch it back and have a look, but it's not the first thing popping up on my mind. We're sort of more looking at what we did wrong more than anything.